Merry meet everyone, it's me, Anastasia Autumnfire, and I wanted to do a quick video. I'm in the ramp at my work, so you'll probably see cars going behind me, but I wanted to get a video kind of at least programmed into my phone so I could load it up later. I've been having some technical issues, shocker I know, with getting things loaded, so I wanted to get this at least somewhere in my system. I got a message the other day, which was super exciting, and the person was asking what I do to prepare myself for magical workings or crafting or anything in that vein. I usually do, and I just kind of wanted to go through that real quick. I usually do a lot of research when I first get an idea for a craft, or a purpose comes to me and I go, okay, I need to do something. I'm going to make a candle. Then I begin research, a lot of research. I look at websites, I look at books that I have. YouTube videos are really good as well. There's a lot of like Herb 101s up online. Sunshine Morning Ray has some really good ones. I don't know if she still posts newer videos, but she has a few Herb 101s which are really great. And just going through and kind of getting correspondences down, getting things that I know I want to use. If it is working with a deity other than what I work with, my matron goddess is Hel, my patron god is Carnunos, and when crafting for someone else, I don't know any other way of saying this, so this is just going to sound kind of weird. I do have the okay to work with other energies if it is something for someone else, if that makes sense. Like I'm going to be making a spell skull for a friend of mine who lost her sister, and she's very spiritual, but she was born and raised Catholic, so her sister who passed away was a practicing Catholic, so I did want to work with Mother Mary's energies for that skull, as well as a couple other goddesses, and so in doing that, I really researched that person. So I researched Mother Mary, her correspondences, but also I do a little bit more of a spiritual feel. When reading about a god or goddess, I'll kind of feel like, oh, you know, this flower really sounds like it would be representative of her, or this flower would be really representative of him, or something along those lines. So if I feel something spiritually kind of come to me, then I'm going to use that as well. Once I get all my research done, I kind of plan out the craft. I'll even make little diagrams. I've got one that I'm super excited about, but I was waiting for the new moon, and then I was in a wedding on the new moon, so I couldn't do any crafting on the new moon. So now I'm waiting for the full moon. But it's a real special craft, so I want to do that. But I made a diagram of how I want it to work, what colors I want to use on what parts, what herbs I want to use on what parts, the significance of those, and just really get everything clear cut. For me, planning is a huge part of my process. It really helps me meditate as well. Meditating where it's complete silence rarely works for me. At least at this point, it's something I need to work on. If I have complete silence, my brain starts going a mile a minute on things I should be doing, or am I doing this right, or second guessing myself, because that's how my mind works. But if I'm sitting with a notepad and a paper and I'm writing things down, I find that inner voice really is working with me and talking me through. I'll even think out loud, which makes me look a little crazy when I'm in my cube at work. You know, I'll sit there, okay, so the candle will go here. Wait, but why would the candle go there? Wouldn't it make more sense to go here? And just kind of walking myself through the process. And that in and of itself, for me at least, is very meditative. It makes me think everything through, take time to pause, take time to reflect. And it really makes me think of the intent that I want to be putting into this project. So once I've gone about as far as I can go on a notepad and paper, I'll go to my altar. I light my working candle at all times. The way I have my working candle set up, it will automatically activate all 4 quarters. If I feel I need protection while working with something, or I want added protection, I will cast a circle. A lot of workings I usually don't. I used to, and then I started feeling like I really didn't need to do this. Why was I doing this? There are still things, anytime I do divination, I cast a circle. Anytime I do something where I'm working with what I worked on the craft for the Archangel Ariel, I casted a circle because it was an energy I hadn't worked with before and I wasn't entirely sure of it. Anytime I'm working with spirits, anytime I'm working with elements that are outside my normal realm, so outside of hell or Kernunos, even the good folk, anytime I'm invoking energies that are not something that I feel is always present in my home, I cast a circle. That's just me. I know some people that cast a circle regardless. I know people that never cast a circle when they're doing crafting. If I'm just making a simple, if I'm just making an incense blend, I usually don't cast a circle because I feel really good with those energies. I'm very confident, and I know the protection that I've already put out there is enough. It's usually divination, or if I'm asking, like if I'm making a candle for the good folk and I ask the good folk to guide me in creating it, I don't want to take a chance that somehow that invitation to help guide me with something is a malevolent energies in, so to speak. So yeah, so that's kind of a rundown on that. I will sometimes, if it's a craft that I'm not trying to make something that I need to smell, I will burn incense, something to help get me to that higher level of consciousness, something that will help elevate my mind. And then it gets to be difficult because my altar is basically a kitchen table. So right next to the kitchen is the living room, and I can't very well, say, hey, you can't watch TV. If you'll notice on most of my videos, you'll hear the TV in the background. It's something you got to do when you don't have a lot of space. But I do have music on my phone. Music, very important for me. I have things from instrumentals, classical music, to, I just lost her name, Murmur's Dance. Oh! Marina McKinnett? I think I might be saying that wrong, but hopefully you know who I mean, and Enya is on there. Then I also have newer music, like I think I've got a couple songs from the Moulin Rouge soundtrack. I know I have a ton of Muse. Muse is a band that speaks to me on so many levels. It hits my, a lot of their slower music really speaks to me spiritually and hits that spiritual plane for me. So I do have their music on there. I've got, I think, a couple Queen. I'm trying to think who else. Basically, when it comes to music, whatever speaks to you, whatever you can listen to and it gives you that goosebump feeling, or it gives you that tingly feeling as you listen to it. Music is very important to me. Vocally, I've been a singer since I was very young. I took voice lessons, so music has always been a part of my life. And having it as a part of my practice is a necessity. I still get weirded out with chanting, singing-wise, because as taking voice lessons from a young age, I get very nervous about, oh God, am I on pitch? Oh God, am I doing this? Oh gosh, is the rhythm right? Oh, and I'm figuring out all this stuff that technically singing is important, but spiritually singing, it's not. And my brain doesn't wrap around that. So if someone says, okay, we're going to chant this or we're going to sing this, in spiritual practice, it's a double-edged sword so much, because instantly my mind is not going to be on the intent anymore. It's not going to be focused on the music anymore, or it's not going to be focused on the spiritual part of the music anymore. It's focused on the technical part. Is my voice doing what it's supposed to do? Am I hitting the notes I'm supposed to hit? Do I have the words right? It's just a cluster. So that is something I need to work on, because even if I never if I never group with other people, my witchy sister in arms, Kristen, she and I, when we get together to do circles for the Sabbats, she very much likes to incorporate chanting and singing, and she gets to that level of spirituality so wonderfully, and she can just feel it, and music is so instrumental for her. It brings the magic within her out. It's beautiful to watch. It's awesome to watch. I want that. And unfortunately, I short circuit myself, so it's something I need to work on. But music has to be a part of my craft. I need it. Oh, excuse me. I need it playing for me to really get into that center, to kind of tune out the TV or conversations or whatever's going on in the other room and focus on, this is what's important. This is what I'm working on. And whatever music is used is music that speaks to your soul. That sounds a little cliche, might sound a little odd, but that's truly how I feel. Anyone who says, you need to have Gregorian chanting or ritual music. I do have ritual music on my iPhone. I've got the Cauldron of Caradwyn, which I put on there for my witchy sister, Kristen, for when we do circle. I've got the Goddess Chant. I don't know what a lot of names are for the songs. I just call them by the words that repeat a lot. We all come from the goddess. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. That song. Those types of songs. I want to say it was a Universal Mother chant on YouTube, and it's the only place I've been able to find it. I absolutely adore it. I think it's on YouTube as the Dark Goddess chant, and it just, and I can't find it on iTunes, so I need to figure that out, because I need that on my collection. But I do have those ritual or pagan songs, but I also do incorporate Prince. I do incorporate Muse. I do incorporate Queen. I also do have Enya and the New Age sounds as well. I think, don't judge, but I even have a couple of songs from Tinkerbell movies. The Voice from Celtic Women. Absolutely adore that song. It makes me cry every time. If there was one song that I think sums up my belief structure about the goddess, that song is so it. But I do have a couple songs on there from Tinkerbell. The Celtic Women, I can't remember the name, this woman's specific name, but she did a song for The Lost Treasure. And I don't know what it is. It just instantly makes me happy and just kind of brings me joy. And it's something more deep than a lot of music gets. And it also connects me to my daughter, because she loves that. It's her fairy song, and she loves it. And although it's Disney and Tinkerbell, which I imagine the good folk are like, seriously, chick? You take the time to call us good folk and refer to us as other folk and not call us fairies, but you have Tinkerbell on your playlist. But it does invoke these beautiful thoughts about the good folk and what their time of the year is and what's going on in the world around us, and so I do include that music on there as well. I'm sorry, this video is turning way longer than I expected. So I do have music playing. I will light other candles if I feel it's needed. Otherwise, my working candle is usually enough. I do have a candle for the Sabbat that my altar is set up with. Right now, it's still in Lunasa. So I have that candle going as well at all times when I'm crafting. And then I just kind of, then it goes based on craft. What stones I want to put around my working area, if I want to use an oracle card or a tarot card to help focus my intent. Pictures, if I'm making something for someone else, having their picture is a huge help. And then it's just kind of keeping your mind there. And that's very difficult to do with outside factors, you know. I do have a 3-year-old. I need to get used to calling her 3 now. I do have a 3-year-old. And so most crafting and videos and such have to be done when she is asleep or not around, because my mind will any concentration will instantly be broken with her coming in. And she is a bit of a magpie. So as soon as she sees that, you know, rose quartz on the side of my altar, it's swipe, and she runs off with it because she loves that rose quartz. And it just, things like that. So when you craft, you need to find something that's personal for you. I will say this a million times over, everyone's path is different. I can only say what I do and what helps me, and if it helps someone else too, awesome, absolutely adore it. But if you kind of go, no, that doesn't work with me, then don't do it. Don't let anyone dictate to you how you should or should not be doing your craft, because it is your craft. Someone once told me, you know, wow, for some reason pop music in with spiritual music is a no-no for a lot of people. And they criticized me for having muse in there, and it's like, sweetie, but that's what speaks to me. That's what gets to my core. And it's not all songs, but it's a few songs. And so that's something that's very personal for me. And I think that's what makes our crafts individual. That's what makes our paths individual. That's what makes everything we do so personalized and so different from everyone else's. So when you sit down to craft, focus on what brings you to that center, what brings you to that focus, what brings you into your space of sanctuary, so to speak. What brings you to that peaceful, calming, tranquil, sacred circle. Whatever brings you to that moment, to that place, and can keep you engaged in that, that's what you should be doing. That's what you should be focused on. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. As long as you're not harming anyone. I'm always going to put that disclaimer in there. So yeah, so that is my thoughts now that I've taken up almost 20 minutes. I hope you guys have a blessed day, and as always, many blessings. Have a good one, guys. Bye.